Okay. Really don't know how to explain this. It's, it's really just whatever is best as possible. Um, I guess this is a good explanation of why we haven't posted. What is it now? 3 weeks? 2, 3 weeks? Um, it's due to complications and, the person that does the car podcast with me, Bess, has kind of hit a low point in his life where he's not feeling the best, so, got to give him support, but he's not able to do the podcast. And as a guy who always strives to be consistent with his things, besides my Twitch, we don't want to even discuss that. Um, we would like to, continue with the podcast, but I can't just talk to myself, even though I'm kind of doing that right now, but again, gloss over that. Okay, Thunder, you can relax now. Alright. So, basically, this little short video is just to kind of discuss what the plan is. The plan is to find some new people. I want to find people who are, interested in cars, maybe have some good car stories, and, just has a good love for cars, but also is consistent and has a good schedule in mind to know, like, hey, you know what, I can do a podcast on Tuesdays because Tuesdays are the least busiest for me, but the rest of the days I can't do. Those kind of ideas, you have that consistency. Now, that's not meaning that some people that I used to talk to didn't have that consistency. God, sorry. Something stuck in my throat. But the problem with the whole trying to stay consistent, obviously some things can happen. Some things like, a death in the family member, the whole virus thing can also put a big toll on this whole idea. Anyway, um, like I said, anything can happen, and I understand that. I understand, like, maybe you're in a dump, like, not in a dump as, like, an actual dumpster, but you're, like, in a dump of your life where it's low. I've definitely been there, I know from experience. So, I know it can happen, and it just depends on how good is your recovery on the idea. For example, let's say, family member dies, and you're deeply heartbroken, and more or less the reason, and you're like really struggling to recover. And then let's say the same situation, however, the other person, it wasn't really close to you, so you don't have that struggle. It's kind of like that idea. Now, I'm not saying that, oh, if you sign up to be the new people on the podcast, that you need to have no interruptions. Not saying that. I have my own interruptions between racing and just doing normal work activities. Those do happen. So, what I'd say this is, if you want to be on the podcast, because I need some new people, if you want to be on the podcast and just, chat about cars, chat about life, basically whatever you want to do, just put it down in the comments. I know this video is not going to get too much traction because, well, I'm not big enough to get that kind of traction. But anyone, and I mean anyone, who wants to be on, just hop on. There's some requirements I'd like to have. They're not, like, strict at all, but it's just some things. You need to have a Discord, first of all. We stream all of ours. We do, like, pop into, like, a podcast room where we just talk and do the podcast. So you definitely need to have a Discord. I don't feel like installing, like, some Skype or Zoom to do that. One, I'm not proficient in those, and second of all, it's just not really worth it. I have a good setup, and I'd like to keep it. Next, you need to talk. Okay, that's just obvious. It's a podcast. You need to talk. If you don't talk, well, again, really can't be helpful. Not saying that you can't like just type, but it'd feel like a one-sided conversation. And I've been in a lot of those where you just wait for someone's response, and then you don't get it because they're doing something on their phone or they're just away from their computer or phone, whatever you want to talk through. It's just those are the kind of requirements. I guess another requirement, you have to be old enough. I'm not saying you have to be 18, but I'm saying you have to be old enough to at least drive or have enough experience to maybe add to the conversation. Again, it's hard to do a one-sided podcast where you're doing all the talking, you're doing all the storytelling, and they don't have anything to add. As a good podcast, you need to have something to add so it can flow. It needs to be like a normal conversation. So if it's not a normal conversation, it's not as fun. So I'd say if you're like me, 20, 22, 23, I think that would be perfect. If you have some like good car stories, you don't have to be a multi-millionaire with a billion cars, but if you have like the one car that you've had for a while and you have some good stories like breaking down or being in a cop chase, whatever floats, that'd be nice as well. It's just something to add to it because I'd really like to continue with the podcast. I'd really like to grow it and continue, but we can't do that unless I have people to. So again, anyone interested, let me know in the comments. Like I'll be checking daily just to kind of see what I can get out of this. So if you are interested, just let me know. Then you can put in stuff. I can put in like a maybe like a Steam account or a Discord that you can like message me and hit me up if you are interested. Now, if you're just gonna troll me, whatever, have fun. I really don't give a shit. It just all really just depends, because I want some serious inquiries. If I can't get any, that's gonna be the end of it. This channel is basically what we got. So that's over the way. Now we should talk about what about the other podcast, the random podcast that started this whole thing. I think that's done, and the reason why is because the people I used to do it with is that I haven't talked to in months, and that's a problem. I mean, upload schedule wasn't consistent. It's like any normal YouTuber that does a month, just does a video a month. And again, like I said, as a man who likes to be consistent, it's a problem. So it's basically that. So I think that's gonna be done. And if I get no good inquiries, I just need one person. I'd rather have a lot of people, because I have a lot of people. Then if one person can't make it, I could switch in. It's always nice to have that like back wall to kind of lay yourself on, so you don't just fall straight into a hole. So like I said, this is just a short little thing to kind of just update the 6 subscribers. But that's fun. That means just 6 people enjoyed the content, and you know what, I enjoy that. I do appreciate that. Also, for when doing the podcast now, I'll be creating a Twitch channel that this will be on, so we can have like that Twitch YouTube idea where if you miss the live stream and you still want to listen to the podcast, we'll just upload it to YouTube so you don't miss a beat. But yeah, I'll be creating a separate Twitch account where we'll be just doing this. It'll be all about podcasts. It'll be in the podcast channel. Just stuff like that. Something that we can just switch back and forth in. And that's basically it. So, like I said, this is just a short introduction, or short explanation, I should say, of where we have been. So, again, like I said, if you feel like you want to, like I said, we can come up with a schedule and plan. I'm usually open all days, so I can kind of mix my schedule. I obviously have work and stuff, during the mornings and afternoons, but I'm usually off by 2, except for Saturdays. It's a little later because it's a Saturday. But after that, I can do any time until, unless it's like at 3 a.m., then I'd rather not, because I get up at 3 a.m. And I don't want to do a podcast immediately when I get up. So, again, this is just a quick little update, and hope to, start soon. Just like everything's supposed to start soon. Be great. Get more content once stuff starts appearing more and more in sports and F1 starts. So, yeah. Anyway, short. It's like, this is it. I don't know how to end this, so we're just gonna end this here. Yeah. Um, be safe. I don't know, don't loot. I don't know. I don't have very good things coming off of my head. So, yeah.